Psst. Hey. Psst. Over here. Zoom in on me. Batman. Good. Now a little closer. Good. Now that Mr. Corey isn't here, I want to talk to you kids about the most interesting thing in the world. Well, besides me, Batman. And that is bats. Did you know bats are mammals? Pretty cool, huh? Flying mammals. I wish I could fly. It's not fair that Superman can. Now that I think about it, it's not fair I have to wear this goofy cape, and I can't even fly. It's always getting in the way of things. In fact, one time I was chasing after the Joker. Uh-oh.
Come on, Batman. How many times do I have to tell you? Please stop meddling with my science lessons. I'm sorry, Batman, but you leave me no other choice. Holy cause and effect, Batman. Remember me? Your trusty sidekick? Gee golly, I sure missed you. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you to return for weeks. You're gonna have to be creative to get us out of this pickle. Yes, sir. The structure of the deep basket will sure make the function of escaping near impossible. Say, you don't happen to have one of those super cool batarangs, do you? Those sure are pretty nifty. Or a grappling hook? Those are swell too. Yo, Bat Brain. Remember me? I's got a riddle for yous. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Collaboration.
Collaboration who?
Collaboration station.
That makes no sense. Good grief.
Greetings, scientists. Thank you for tuning in yet again to Pattervision. I wanted to take an opportunity to thank you all for tuning in to this science activity. And a lot of you have, over the course of our VLE experience, have put in a lot of hard work and effort. But more importantly, I've seen so much creativity and innovation. I've seen some deep thinking. I've witnessed some precise language, just like scientists do. And this has really been a unique experience to take advantage of and really see you all shine by doing the scientific and engineering types of thinking that real life scientists and engineers do at home. And it's been a fantastic journey. Sadly, this will be our last science activity in grade 3 and 4. You'll be in the good hands of Mr. Spackman for IT, but that means this will be our last science virtual learning experience.
All right, scientists, let's make this last science activity count. We're going to go full circle, and some of you may recall doing an activity called finding patterns in spring flowers. Well, we're going to look for patterns in leaves.
Today we're going to be looking at the edges of leaves and trying to determine which is most common, smooth-edged or toothed-edged leaves. Let me give you an example of a smooth edge. So these leaves here, if I just look at one of them, and what we're going to do is just look at the edges. So when I talk about the edges around the outside of the leaf here, if you look at this edge, you can see that it is smooth. There's no little, what we call, it's not toothed, or it's not serrated. But if you look at this example over here, this one is toothed. If you look at the edge here, you can see how it's serrated kind of, and so you have these little bumpy edges here there that we call teeth. So this one is toothed. This edge, leaf edge, is smooth. I'm going to show you a few more examples. What do you think, scientists? Smooth-edged or toothed? That's right, it is toothed. Look at the edges here. See all these teeth going all the way around the edge of this leaf. Now, let's see if we get a little bit trickier here. Smooth or toothed? That's right, if we observe closely, we can see the teeth all around the edge of this leaf. Smooth or toothed? Now this one gets tricky because you see these here, this part, and this part, these are called lobes. And so we're not going to look at lobes in today's sampling activity, but I do want to look at the edges. So if we look at the edges here, even though they're lobed, they still have teeth. So this is toothed. What about this ivy leaf? It has 3 lobes, which doesn't matter for us in this investigation, but if you look at the edges of this ivy leaf, you can see that it is smooth.
I encourage you to hit pause and take a really close look at this science diagram showing the differences between toothed edges and smooth edges before carrying on with this activity. Similar to what we did in the Finding Patterns in Springtime Flowers activity, I want you to try to go out and find as many different kinds of leaves as possible. Observe closely at the edges of those leaves and see if you can answer this question. Which type of leaf is most common, smooth or toothed? You'll notice you'll answer this question in a claim and support format. So your claim will simply answer the question, and because will give your reasoning. Now I know there's a lot of mathematicians out there that have a great working knowledge of fractions. Make a connection and use fractions to really help support your thinking based on the number of leaves you find that are smooth or toothed. Here's an example I would like to show you using an idea from the flowers. And of course, you're going to be doing leaf edges here, so this is just an example and you can apply your new learning to the leaf activity. You're going to go find as many leaves as you can that will help support your thinking here. In this example, I found 10 flowers, and I was trying to answer the question of which is most common, odd or even number of petals. Now this is where math, or more specifically fractions, come in. When scientists support their thinking, one of the things they do to help convince others of their reasoning is by using math. And here we have a great situation where we can count the number of petals for each flower, and we'll know that when we're done, which one's more, odd or even. Well, in this case, out of the 10 flowers I counted, 5 of them, or 5 out of 10, were odd numbered petals, and 5 out of 10, 5/10, were even number of petals. In this case, it was half and half. So my claim was that the odd and even number of petals are not more common than each other. Now, I've already done the math and put them into fractions of 5/10 even and 5/10 odd. So the next step is to just write that down so I can be clear and concise to support my claim. Does this support help convince you of the claim that the odd and even number of petals are not more common than each other? Because 5/10 of the flowers had even number of petals, and 5/10 of the flowers had an odd number of petals. This is an equivalent fraction that means half. So half of the flowers I looked at had an even number of petals, while half of the flowers had odd numbers of petals. Pretty convincing, huh? That's math, and this is science. And there you have it, scientists. I challenge you for this final activity is to go outside and find as many leaves as you can and really observe closely and look at those edges and see if you can answer this question. Which type of leaf edge is most common, smooth or toothed? Don't forget to answer this question with a claim, and don't forget to support it using math and fractions. I can't wait to hear the results. Best of luck.
Scientists, I hope that we can reconnect in the future during healthier times. Fourth graders, those of you moving on to the middle school, even though you're going to be cool middle schoolers, don't be too cool so you can't come back and say hi to your old elementary science teacher. Third graders returning to Ash for next year. Fourth grade science is tons of fun. We're going to have a blast learning and thinking like scientists and engineers as we always do. So I'm looking forward to that. We do some great things. Those of you moving on, luckily in this day and age, it's just a click away. So I hope our paths will cross somehow, physically or digitally, in the near future. Until then, stay safe and stay curious. See ya.